Hey everybody, how's it? Aloha, good morning. This is Geebz, your old composer here at the Decomposer Lounge. Decomposing before your eyes, literally and figuratively. Mr. Bungle. Okay. I have had a very unique creative, I wouldn't say love affair, but like really enjoyed any time Mr. Bungle would come up. I knew I was always in for something unique. Kind of like that Les Claypool-y kind of vibe and stuff. You just never know what you're going to get, and it could be just about anything. So this one, I thought was an odd title for the track, but it is, let's see, Raping Your Mind. And it looks like this particular track comes from, let me see what the year of this album is. It's 2020. And I think the last album of Mr. Bungle that I had listened to was Carousel, not Carousel, but where Carousel is on the album. And I believe that one was the 1991, perhaps maybe even that was the very first, yeah? Possibly, yeah, from that album. So this is literally 20 years later, 30 years later, Jesus. Something like that. So anyhow, let's see what we got here. Thank you for your support like usual. Links down below for the coffee, the headsets, Patreon, everything is down below. Let's do this. This is Mr. Bungle, Raping Your Mind. All right. What? Okay, I'm only saying this because I think the last I recall is that there was there was some metal in the original, or the ones that I heard a long time back ago, and it had horns and stuff. So apparently they made a completely different change over in their sound, which we've heard on journeys that have had, bands that have had journeys that have spread, you know, longer than 15, 20, 25, in this case 30 years. This sounds like total raw power metal punk. Excuse me. It has a little bit of an 80s chunk into it that I really like. And what I love the most so far, that what I'm hearing is, you know, the technique of the musicianship and everything is, you know, stellar, but it is raw in the sense that the hard left right doubling of the guitar and stuff like that is not manufactured. And what I mean by that is everybody's recording pretty much 99% digitally. You know, there's still some old schoolers that are doing it with analog and tape. They could have done some time nudging and stuff to lock left, right in extremely tight. But the fact that they left it as organic as it is giving me more of a raw, ballsy journey on the listen. You know, because you can that's going over there. You know, you can't possibly hit the strings identical on a second pass. I mean, you kind of can. And you can manipulate that sound in production too. If you compress it and you do certain things, you can get it to work. It looks like these guys just went ahead and said, this is what we're doing. This is what we got. Engineer, hit record. And even a little bit of the nuances that are not perfect, either on the tempo to match this side or not a perfect strike of the string and stuff like that is super badass. The bass tone, even though he's kind of pocketed back in his little zone in the middle, that bass tone is really sick, especially in the very fast stuff. It really punches through. So right now I'm just kind of getting my mind around the fact that this is not the bungle I'm used to. So let's continue on. You guys tell me what I mean. If new guitar players or something, what? Both, before I stopped in the first time, there was another section where they did some lead work, and all that tone went, or that sound went really squashed right down the middle, so void left and right. What I forgot to mention about that I can kind of tie it into this, is the technique of the solo work, for some reason too, kind of harkens me to the 80s sound, but it is so raw and it is so visceral that I'm only kind of associating it with it, maybe because of some leads I may have recalled from the 80s and stuff. But where it's pocketed in the mix and how it's played really makes me feel that it was a one pass go. There isn't a lot of punching in, going in, if anything, because we know the process of recording and stuff. Everybody punches something in, you know, whether it's just there's a clam in a note, or your finger, you know, hit your pick the wrong, whatever, something. It almost seems like this was just balls to the wall, fly, knock it out, and just crush on it. Once again, because it's a raw, organic performance, it seems to be. It's not all, you know, completely tricked out and nudged and moved and this and that and the whole thing. And that's what I'm loving about this. They just broke the internet for me. That whole thing was just a complete balls to the wall, you know, people's elbow. Is there such a thing as metal punk? Punk metal or something? What's the hardest punk that there is that's out there? I mean, it just had that vibe. I think because I don't know a lot about the genres and subgenres, just something that fast and that aggressive and that powerful kind of reminds me of some of the punk that I heard in the 70s and as it was coming up and through, except obviously this is done in 2020. The tones, the guitars, it's all dirt. It's powerful. I loved, by the way, I also want to say with the drum work, you know, you could just feel, you know, drums is one of the few, and you musicians, check me if I'm wrong, I never think of drums and punching in. You know what I'm saying? For all the years that I was an engineer in the 80s, I don't think I ever once did a punch-in job on a drummer. The drummer played all the way through most of it. It's like almost like that is the one thing that you can count on holding all the way through and recording is the drummer. Not saying that it doesn't happen, and it was only my small experience in my window of being an engineer before I transitioned into a composer. But this performance, top to bottom, the drummer, guitar player, and the bass player, it just sounded like one pass all the way through. Listen to it back. Maybe they did it 5, 6, 8, 10, 12 times, whatever, because we all know that that does happen, is without doing any punch-ins, just do the performance again until you know, pick the one that you like. I don't know, but that's what it felt like to me. Like this was a one-shot, perhaps, you know, guitar solo later, but through and through the power of the recording and the production of it was just, you know, hit the switch to 11, turn the switch off from 11 to the very end and stuff. So, but it was a trip for me because I was not expecting this from Mr. Bungle. So why don't you guys give me a little background on what and when that transition happened from more of a older Mr. Bungle, 1991, to what I just heard here, which was 2020. So, all right, I did it. I did Mr. Bungle. I did it. I know a lot of people were asking me for it, but this was a Patreon pick, and I finally came around to it. You guys take care. Thank you very much, and I will see you a little bit later. See ya. All right.